What's up, y'all? I have Comrade Brother Abdul Osmanu here from Connecticut, who is just coming off of an unfortunately unsuccessful run for Connecticut Statehouse. The 94th district, was it?
Oh, yeah, 94th district. Yep.
Yeah. So as a consequence of him losing, he's going to be forced to watch Kamala Harris's entire acceptance speech at the DNC. I'm not going to make him watch all of the. I'm not going to make him watch all of the. I don't bring guests on my show to torture them. But
no, I failed, so it's my punishment correctly. So
well, you didn't fail. Just people didn't vote for you. See, this is why we need a totalitarian system where people don't vote, because sometimes, most of the time, people don't vote correctly. Like, I have no problem with voting, but you have to vote the right fucking way.
Oh yeah, no, but even at that, like I have always like joked with people that like I have a soft spot for like municipal level or like state level like authoritarians that like they understand and recognize that they have power. And like they're just like, oh shit, I have power. Let me actually use it. So it's just like, oh, I can't hate on this person actually like understanding how to use power at like the local or state level.
Yeah, maybe later we could talk about our definitions of power, because one of our main critiques of DSA is that a lot of people simply do not know what power is. And I guess that's why we have very little power. So, yeah. I'm of the Huey, definition. I think that power is when you're able to define a phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. But of course, this was after Huey became sort of a philosophy hipster after being. No, this was before. But he was always a philosophy hipster, actually. But like he was really. Like after he was released from prison, he became really into Nietzsche. So
yeah,
that was kind of funky.
Yeah. I had a Nietzsche friend in like undergrad, and no.
Malcolm read Nietzsche in prison, and he was like, "This is a very silly man. No wonder he inspired the Nazi ideology."
No, yeah, literally. Just like I joke about being the Ubermensch every now and then.
Everybody knows that BRG is the true Ubermensch. You're nothing but a cheap imitation. That's why you lost your election. Anyways, let's see what this. What is the German word for woman? Frau. Let's see what this Uberfrau has to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
I thought the USA chat was reserved specifically for Republicans. Why are Democrats using it?
Sure. Yeah, bro. It's like it's kind of crazy. It's like so weird, because like they throw you for a loop for a second when they like choose like someone like Tim Walz, where they're like, it seems like they're slightly afraid or something. And like, yeah, maybe we'll move a smidgen to the left. Then they hit you at literally like what this whole entire convention was, and then you're just like, oh no, they didn't really give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, like it's amazing. Like we were saying before we went live, like I was radicalized in major part by Ferguson. So like I used to be a big politics nerd. Like I was the weird kid that grew up watching MSNBC. I literally watched the Iraq War like live. Every time I'd run home and watch fucking war footage. I was a weird fucking kid. Maybe that's why I'm obsessed with military history right now. Maybe that's why I blew up that swing set. Anyways.
Oh God, yes. Yikes.
Anyways, I did not do that. When I said I blew up a swing set, I mean it in a metaphorical sense.
Oh yeah, no, just all hypothetical and allegedly.
Yeah, but anyways, and like after Ferguson, I was like, okay, this is happening under the first black president. This guy was supposed to have saved us. Like he was supposed to have done something good, and here we are with troops in our city, like literally snipers on top of buildings and stuff like that. Like we just literally had the 10th anniversary of when all this shit popped off. And what exactly has changed for black people in this country? Shit hasn't gotten better; it's gotten worse. And they're basically they're doing the Obama strategy, like they called our own unfortunate comrade Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Like people are like, oh, this is her Obama moment. We don't want another fucking Obama. We do not need a Latina.
No,
we do not need a Latina Obama. Like it's hilarious how all of these people are constantly, oh, it's identity politics. Why are you doing that? And like you're falling to the cheapest form of identity politics.
Yeah,
because Yeah, like they parade these people in front of you, and you're like a little fucking baby. Like they jingle their keys in front of you, and you're supposed to be an
It's
adult.
like, it's also really weird because there'd be some level of respect for it if there was like some actual real like large scale material like gain out of said, like being paraded around in identity politics, but there really hasn't. And I mean, I'd be hard pressed to be pointed to an example of that within like the entirety of my lifetime. So it's just like something's not working.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the Black Hillary.
Oh God.
Thank you all.
Also, another thing, these fucking signs, Kamala.
Oh yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like she received absolutely. She didn't get any states in 2020. Like, why are they building a cult of personality around this woman? Like, she's not the type of person that you build cults of personality around. Like AOC, I can see, but like her, like, what exactly is there to get excited about from a prosecutor? That I don't know. Like they
leaned on the memes.
Yeah, honestly, I believe all of this shit is astroturfed. It has to be.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like none of this shit is organic. There are not people out there that are genuinely excited about Kamala Harris. There simply cannot be. I have too much faith in humanity.
Hey, we gotta get to some business. Okay. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you. Please. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
And thank you, everyone.
I've said it fucking twice. What
Yeah,
the fuck?
I mean, like,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Damn.
like that's like kind of 6 times at that point. It's like,
God, you stupid motherfuckers. Fuck.
Everyone, thank you. Okay, let's get to business. All right. So let me start.
I've said it 10 fucking times. Now you're all going to jail.
By
I just
thanking
like that's a
my
good
most
like minute
incredible
before she said
husband,
anything
Doug.
too.
Yeah. People were saying this was weird. Look, of all the shit that you could attack Tim Walz for, having a good relationship with that's not Tim Walz.
Oh yeah,
Doug,
that's her husband. Yeah,
that's Doug M. Walz. Look, all white people look alike to me. I'm sorry, but like,
no, I'm just like they kind of do look similar.
Yeah, but they're like, why is it that? Like, is it a crime to have a good relationship with your daughter? Like, I don't know what type of what the fuck? If there's a lot of things you can get mad at this.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that you can get mad at this guy for. There's a lot of things you can get mad at any old rich white dude for. But like having a good relationship with his daughter, that's kind of different for them. Most of them have horrible relationships with their kids.
Yeah, it's just like, bro, there's a whole load of just shitty policy to just get after, and not like this person actually having enough time throughout just being a horrible person to be a good parent or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
For being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much. To our President Joe Biden. When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring.
So she's just flat out fucking lying. History will show Joe Biden as being like fucking Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford mixed together with a little bit of Warren Harding thrown in.
Yeah. Also, it's just like some of the love she's showing is just hilarious because I know that they literally were at each other's throats and necks as this all went down, of just like him like stepping down and what happened to I was that little girl with the bus stuff, exactly. There, you cannot tell me that like there was not no beef that was going down in like they're like in the White House, Oval Office and stuff. Like, yeah, no, that's BS. Like, they were definitely
you didn't want your kids to go to school with me, you old fuck. Fuck you. I'm glad you're senile.
Inspiring, and Doug and I love you and Jill, and
I hope they put you in a fucking nursing home and give you a hot shot.
I'm forever thankful to you both. And to Coach Tim Walz.
Oh, God.
They want everybody like liberals are like the most infantilized people. Like, Coach Tim Walz.
Coach.
Like, he reminds me of this professor. He reminds me of this teacher that I had in high school.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Kamala is my caring mother, my caring but stern mother, and Tim Walz is my strict high school fucking lacrosse coach that wants me to be the best I can be. These people are so pathetic. Like
they've somehow found a way to just like turn politics even more parasocial in terms of like the relationships that folks are able to like build in their head with it, where it's like you're either like one of those folks where it's just like mamala and all that other stupid stuff, or you just like think of politics in the sense like similar to like a sports team or whatsoever, where it's just like my team has to win or and blah 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 and all this other stuff, and like you kind of forget that there's actual lives and actual important stuff at stake.
And the funny thing is, like, none of these people know who you are. Like, have you seen how politicians act towards their fans in public? Like, they treat them like shit. They're like, oh my God, Kamala, I love you. Your speech is so inspirational. And Kamala's literally just like, okay, yeah, cool. Get the fuck away from me. I'm not signing no fucking autographs. I'm drunk, bitch. Leave me alone. Anyways, let's see if she actually gets to some real shit. I've watched this. I'm just going to subject you to the torture.
Oh, geez. Wait, what? Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I'm Ados and you're from Africa. That's why.
Damn. I'm a tether. Is that what they is? I don't think I'm that online to know. Okay.
No, a tether is what they call people like me who are like Pan-Africans, because apparently they want to keep us tethered. We want to keep them tethered to the African continent. I'm like, bro, nobody's keeping you anything. Your blood is tethering you to the African continent. And then like I posted my 23andMe results, and like I'm apparently 90% sub-Saharan African. So
dang.
Just judging by my skin color, I guess that 10% of cracker is doing a shitload of work. Anyways,
you're not beating my 99.5.
Well, so you're first generation then.
Yeah, I'm like the Omni African. But yeah.
Yeah, and like they saw it and they're like, you ain't a foundational Black American, because apparently all Black Americans who have been here for centuries, apparently we have like 45% colonizer rape blood. Anyways, like your mama was a foo-foo writer. I'm like, what the fuck? Where do you all come up with this stuff from? Because apparently I'm 57% Nigerian. And I'm like, bro, so are you. Okay. Like, that's where they took most of our ancestors from.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, we're not here to talk about ADOS. Oh, that's Tim Walz.
Yeah.
She should have picked somebody that could actually like be differentiated from any other old regular ass white dude. He looks like one of my old coworkers.
Incredible vice president. And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So,
You're certainly no stranger to unlikely journeys. Like literally nobody has voted for you. And here you are accepting the Democratic Party nomination for president of the United States. Like nobody voted for her in a primary. Nobody wrote her name in a primary this year. She is literally only in this position because Joe Biden stepped down and coordinated her. Like there was no struggle, there was no nothing. There's like, okay, I'm stepping down because I'm old and I'm sick. Here's your next president. Peace. Like that's what happened. And then RFK Jr. Sorry, yes, he appeared with Trump. Like if honestly, there were a few leftists who were courting that fucking ghoul, but like just listening to his policies is like, fuck that. I don't like colors like my dad did, but I don't. Any color that votes for me is an idiot. At least I didn't drown a fucking girl like my uncle did. Anyways,
vote
Ted
Kennedy killed that woman. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was actually a car accident because he was raving drunk, and the car flipped upside down. He got out and swam away and left the girl in the car to drown. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, don't have any Chappaquiddics if you plan on being successful in politics, Abdul.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm just like, hell no.
My mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own, and I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down, smiling. I know that.
So people are making a big deal, like she mentioned her mom, but she didn't mention her dad. Because her dad literally hates her.
Yeah, her dad. Yeah. But also, low-key, I'm not gonna lie, like her mom's name being Kamala Harris and her name being Kamala, like I'm not gonna even hate. That goes hard for some reason. But nonetheless, yeah, her dad, yeah. That's why I'm afraid of having kids. Just like I really do not want to push out a liberal and like raise a liberal. I disown him too.
Well, kids are influenced by their parents. Like nobody is like, I didn't come out of my mother's womb a Marxist, Leninist, Maoist. Like you have to actually teach your kids. And what a lot of Marxists do, like there are a lot of red diaper babies, but what a lot of Marxists do is they don't take the time to really properly politically educate their kids. And then like America, you imbibe bourgeois ideology every time you take a drink of water in this country. So they'll be like, okay, yeah, mom and dad, they taught me about Mao and Marx and Lenin and all this, but I go to school and they teach me that these people were evil and these people were cruel and these people were fascists or whatnot. So kids are very they're like plastic. You can mold and remake them any way you want, but ultimately it depends on the environment in which they're raised. Like you have to raise your communist kids around other communist kids so that you reinforce these things. Like back in the day when the CPUSA was really, really strong and it actually wasn't absolutely fucking useless. Like if you were a scab, like if you crossed the picket line, like the other kids on the block, well, if your dad was a scab and he crossed the picket line, like the other kids on the block literally would not talk to you. That was when the left had a modicum of grassroots institutional power in this country. That's what we need to get back to. Like the other kids wouldn't talk to you. They wouldn't play with you at school. You basically be a pariah, just like your dad was. The adults would shun your dad. They wouldn't allow him in the bar. They kick him out of all events and stuff like that because you're a fucking scab, bro. You are a menace. You are a parasite on the community. You fuck over other people just so that you can go and buy a new fucking wristwatch for yourself. Meantime, you have regular ass workers that are starving and you're helping us starve. So that type of mass shutting works. So that to have power like that, we actually have to rebuild a proper communist party. That's why I'm in DSA, because I think the raw material is here. Plus, I actually like some of the people here. All right, back to Kamala, whatever.
Okay. So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me.
She does not know what self-determination is.
Yeah.
Well, I guess running away from an arranged marriage is a display of individual self-determination because you are determining your own future. But it would be nice if she applies this ideology to the right of the Palestinian people to exist.
It's just the speechwriter definitely did not think that part through.
Yeah, this is Biden's speech tailored to Kamala because Kamala wasn't born to a 19-year-old Indian mother. He was born to a drunken Irish, French, Scotch, Irish American used car salesman. Anyways.
Growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all
You're just like you.
Our belongings, ready to go to Illinois.
My mommy was a famous scientist and my daddy was a famous economist, but I'm just like you plebes.
To Wisconsin. And wherever our parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music.
All right, shut up. I don't give a fuck.
Instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated.
Is that why you threw people that look like you or people who look like the ethnicity that you claim in prison?
Kindness.
That's not how I want to treat my people because that's not how I would want to be treated. I want to be thrown in prison. I like being able to gorge myself on cheap fucking Little Debbie snacks.
What's your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Zebra cakes.
Okay, cool. I'm
What's
more
yours?
of like an oatmeal cream cake. I'm more of an oatmeal cream pie guy. I don't know why.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, you see. I got a politician to say cream pie.
And compassion. My mother was a brilliant.
Why are you still talking about your mother? Your mother is dead. Nobody gives a fuck. You're a grown woman. What are you going to do to the country? Jesus.
My parents.
Jesus Christ.
Had met at a civil rights.
Your parents.
Gathering of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
You are one of the greatest perpetrators of harm in American. Jesus Christ! How can you listen to this ghoul and not want to tear your skin off? I don't know because I like my fucking brown skin. Why would I tear my skin off? It makes me want to tear somebody else's skin off, but I don't want to hurt myself.
And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. This
is fucking Law and Order. Like when did she walk out to the Law and Order? Da, 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 da. She's even dressed like a fucking prosecutor.
Yeah.
If this chick struts into the courtroom, your ass is going to prison for the rest of your life.
We are all in this together. And every day in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge And I said 5 words. Kamala Harris.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
That's 4
Bruh,
words.
you're going to jail. Bruh, you're going to jail. Yeah.
Kamala Harris. You know, For the People is actually my old org's name. I should sue her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I should sue her. She's using my name.
They're already
in
onto you,
national
dude.
content. Well, I don't want a bullet in my head. Not just yet, anyways.
And to be clear,
why is everybody wearing white? Is that like a suffragette thing? I think it is.
No.
Yeah, I think it is.
And to be clear,
most of those original suffragettes were racist. I don't think that we have an Indian. We have an Indian half-breed representing women on the national stage.
Yeah, no. I'm just you throw a suffragette on in that crowd, and she's having a heart attack. Like,
yeah. I mean, a lot of them were progressive. A lot of them were anti-slavery, but that doesn't mean that they thought like black people were full human beings or some shit.
Yeah.
There were black suffragettes, but like they generally were treated like shit. A lot of them were like, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the white suffragettes, they were mainly mad because black men in the South and in the North technically had the right to vote, but white women didn't. They're like,
the racism that ensued after that, just crazy. Like, it just insane.
Yeah. So you're gonna let these beasts of burden vote, but you won't let us vote?
Yeah. I'm just like all-time heel turn right there. Like,
indeed.
My entire career, I've only had one client, the people.
The whirling class.
Oh my god.
That's like so if you actually like if you actually represented the people, you would be like a public defender or something. You would be like a communist lawyer that takes most of your cases for free. You wouldn't be a fucking prosecutor. Like, there's this stupid notion in the United States of like the state being the vessel of the will of the people. It's not. Like, Lenin taught us that in a class society, who runs shit? Like, the class that's in control, the class that organized the state.
Oh God.
A lot of trans-exclusionary radical feminists like to use the colors of the suffragette flag. I did not know
surprising. That's not surprising.
Yeah, most of the suffragettes would be TERFs.
Yeah.
And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard.
You know, I don't think I'll be able to listen to this woman for 4 fucking
All right, how many on behalfs? How many on behalfs did she do?
On behalf of
like,
these nuts.
3? Yeah, because like, I don't know. Like, when it comes to speeches, for me, like I'm really big on just like rhyme, meter, and just like certain pacing where it's just like I'd probably do like 3 on behalfs. If the delivery's messed up, I'm going to just like do 2 of them. And it's just like sometimes I'll see people do 4 or 5 of them, and it's just like, nah, you've got no rhythm to this at all. Like, it's like part of speech giving is just feeling crowd energy and just rhythm and like meter.
Yeah, and like part of that comes from the African, or in my case, the African American oratorial tradition. Like, you all have griots over there. Over here, like, listen to a black. I'm certain you've heard of like a black American preacher. Like, nobody else can. Yeah, like nobody else can do that, because like that's part of our oratorical and rhetorical tradition that goes all the way back to Africa. Like, that's how we talk when we're addressing an audience. Like, people are like, oh, they sound like Martin Luther King. Like, no, Martin Luther King sounds like us.
Yeah.
So,
oh God.
She went on in that speech. I'm not going to subject you to the entirety of it because I don't bring guests on to torture them unless they're white. But she goes on to talk about the right of Israel to exist. She goes on to talk about basically it was a Republican speech. Like they're not fooling anybody. They're not fooling anybody by claiming by continuing to claim that they're distinct from the Republicans because they're not. Both of them are ruling class parties. Both of them, neither one of them give a shit about average, ordinary, everyday working people. Like all of those delegates, who there was a clerk at a Dollar General? Do y'all have Dollar Generals in Connecticut?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have Dollar Generals. I don't think any of them were clerks. Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, there's some people that I know that are delegates and we're down there that I'm like, cool, I like you, you're pretty cool, great. But no, I'm just when you're looking at it from a class basis, it's just there's a clear cutoff.
Yeah, because not everybody can afford to go and chill in a hotel and go to all these expensive fucking roof parties. I went to DC a couple months ago. That trip fucking wiped me out. That's working class shit. That the main reason why
Chicago's a bit cheaper, and I like Chicago better than DC. Chicago's probably my second favorite city. It's just the packages to go to the convention were way too much. Yeah.
What's your favorite city? Fucking New Haven?
Oh no, I love New Haven. I don't feel like I could put that on a list because it's just that just feels just too close to home. Where in fact I feel like Chicago sometimes feels like a bigger, a huge, a small New Haven. Actually, no, Chicago feels like a huge New Haven. In a really weird, awkward ways. There's elements of New Haven that I see in Chicago. But I'd say my favorite city is cool. I'm cheating because I was born in the Bronx. New York City definitely has to be one of my favorite places, favorite cities. And the Bronx always has a real beautiful place in my heart. So yeah.
The Bronx is a beautiful place. Those are some words I thought I'd never hear. Anyways, the Bronx is a beautiful place, and there's a fucking chocolate fountain, a giant chocolate fountain in New York Harbor.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's aspects of it that just appeal. I feel like it's the cultural elements of it, where pretty much when my family immigrated to here, the majority of everybody just settled in the Bronx, and a good chunk of people still live there. So there's always just been really cool aspects of it for me, where even down to my weird ability to speak Spanish better than I definitely should comes from the fact that when I was learning all my languages, I lived in a very Hispanic neighborhood, where people were just speaking Spanish a lot, and it just caught on.
So when are you going to primary AOC? I'm joking.
Oh God! Actually, no. My grandma's Congress person is Richie Torres.
They're gonna end up when it's probably going to be her versus Richie Torres for that fucking Senate seat.
Jesus Christ! No.
Yes,
I mean, you're right,
yes,
but it's
it's gonna be you're gonna have it's gonna be two Puerto Rican liberals.
Yeah, it's just what did that was Hakeem Jeffries. He said Zion, not Zion. It was something to the effect of Zionism today, or Israel today, Israel tomorrow, and whatever. Quoting the George Wallace thingy. Yeah,
and
one of those racist white people.
It was George Wallace. The thing is why are all of these people so attached at the hip? What exactly? Okay, I understand what Israel does for you to give you a shitload of money, but what does Israel do for the average black person? People these ADOS weirdos on Twitter, but what have Palestinians done for me lately? Okay, what has Israel done for you besides train cops to smash your fucking head in?
Yeah, it's just I don't know, what can Palestinians do for you at the current state of literally struggling for self-determination and survival.
They're struggling. Fuck self-determination. These people are struggling to live. How dare you? That'd be when we were in the fucking fields picking cotton. Well, when I was in the fields picking cotton. Well, when my ancestors were in the fields picking cotton. Anyways, like that'd be like when we were in the fucking fields picking cotton. And like, well, we go and join the Union Army, but what have Negroes done for us lately? Like, bro, we can't. We picked your fucking cotton. Does that help?
Yeah, it's just like the only people that should be able to cling to like a crazy black people that should be able to cling to a crazy line on this are Hebrew Israelites. Yeah.
Why did you summon? Now I'm gonna have to interview one of them next. God damn it.
Oh my god, my favorite thing is going down downtown New Haven on like a weekend. You have like some of them like just like preaching and saying their stuff, and it's just ridiculous. It's hilarious. And like I've told my friends I'm just gonna go by them and like drop like a Kendrick Lamar lyric or verse, and like hopefully it clicks with them, and like I earn their goodwill there.
Or depending on which faction, they might beat the shit out of you. Like all of those little groups. All of those people are like the left, like they squabble and they fight and they split all the time. Like some of those people are openly hostile to each other.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like I got enough like Nation of Islam lore. I need to tap into what the Hebrew Israelites are doing because it's just like
they don't like it. They don't like the nation. They don't like the Nation of Islam.
Yeah. I wonder how they like form that all together in their thought, you know, like
I don't know. Like you're talking about the ramblings. Like what types of people join things like this in the first place?
I don't know. It's just like at this point, just join one of those like really bourgeois like sororities or frats. Just like
yeah. So, what was it like running for state representative?
Oh my god, it was actually it's actually really crazy. I had no clue that I was going to run for state rep. In fact, heading into this year, I was like really tired and a little burnt out from just like the past couple of years of just doing all this stuff because I'm 22 now, about to be 23 in November. I found myself in a lot of these. Wait, what? You didn't know I was that young?
No, most people don't know. Most people think I'm like 45, but I'm 30. Black people are always confusing people with our ages.
Oh yeah, no. I've never had anyone clock me for 22.
Yeah, people are like, bro, you only 30? I thought you was like 40. I'm like, yeah, thank you. It's called trauma.
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought you were close to my age.
Yeah, no.
But you're like fucking YDSA age, and you're running for state rep.
Yeah, it's a long story. But nonetheless, like I was really tired because like I got elected to council when I was like 19. But had been doing like a whole bunch of stuff before that, whether it was like actually like managing campaigns, like actually like working on just like more like higher level stuff within campaigns, and then more like grassroots organizing stuff. So I was like super tired. I was like, I don't know how much I really want to do this anymore because I just like graduated college last year. So like the whole entire point of 2024 for me was literally to just like take a sort of like break and figure out how much longer I wanted to do stuff. But of course, like you already had it going on in like the fall before. But there started to really become a lot of real good, meaningful organizing within like, you know, the Palestinian Solidarity Circle, which like, honestly, I think like I'm kind of partial, but like we do it pretty well here in CT DSA. And that kind of like rejuvenated me in a way where I was just like, okay, cool. Maybe there's like weird actual purpose to me being like an elected official in like these spaces. Even if it's something as small as me speaking at a rally, like calming down like a police response of like, you know, people like, you know, cops getting a little more like frisky or whatsoever. Cause like, I think one of the weird things I learned.
Vest. You're a yellow vest. Oh my God.
I think that
those are not in high demand after Chicago.
I just like it was like I remember being asked once, like, "Oh, bro, like I feel like there's like heightened like you know police tension. Could you just speak? Because we think that if you speak, it'll legitimize our action and not get us, you know, like in like a real like escalated
mortally
situation."
Wounded.
Yeah. So I was just like, cool. If that is, and there's also been weird things where I've like been able to pitch to folks outside of, you know, my capacity of being an elected, like weird self-defensey things, to just regular community members or people in the state. And like me just saying, oh yeah, I think that's a good idea, sometimes just makes people think like, oh yeah, if the elected official thinks it's a good idea, then I think it's a good idea, which that's something that we just need to like actually correct. Because if I'm like if I'm the dude that needs to like legitimize and lead people into doing something that has like a smidgen of radicalism, like that, there's just something inherently wrong there.
I think America, honestly, I think Americans just secretly yearn for a monarchy.
Yeah, high key. Yeah,
like they want like, oh, the Duke said it's okay, so it's okay.
Yeah,
they yearn for
like
they yearn
made
for
me
nobility.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like
why
I've had to grow accustomed to that. Cause it's just like, why do you care that much about what I think? Like, shouldn't you be able to just like form that this is like a good idea on your own? And like not have to like look at me for like per se leadership. Because I think the concern is that like if I'm able to pull that off, that means that anybody that like someone that just has like the worst possible intents could just utilize that in like the same way that
somebody
I just
like
did.
Yeah, somebody like me.
No, like much worse than you.
You can't get much worse than me.
But yeah, like that was one of the things.
You can't get much worse than me.
I don't think I feel like I've met some, especially in electoral spaces. Yeah.
I've met some genuinely fucking like electoral spaces attract like literal clinical fucking sociopaths.
Oh yeah,
because of the reasons that you just laid out.
Yeah, it's just like alcoholics, sociopaths, all that other stuff. Just you're just going to find a weird myriad of folks. But yeah, like I was like that kind of rejuvenated me a little bit, and got me to the point where I was just like, okay, cool. I got like quite a bit more left in the tank. I have actually these good ideas that I'd like actually like to work on past, you know, some of the organizing that we're doing around, you know, like Palestine and everything. So I'm gonna stick around. And all of a sudden, like actually in May, but like a month or two before that, I just decided that like, cool, I'm just going to break the seal a bit because I helped out a little bit with like uncommitted stuff. So I was like, I kind of already broke my promise to myself already. So I'm going to manage my fellow like DSA, Hamden council person's state rep race, who Lori Sweet, she actually did win her race and is, you know, on her way to becoming, you know, our first CT DSA elected official at like the statehouse. So I was actually managing that campaign for like a month and a half. And then all of a sudden, like my like 10-year-long state rep just suddenly just decides to not run for re-election. And it's so weird. Like I'm at her convention. And she just doesn't really show up. And I'm just like, and she's really good. Like literally like every single like close to meaningful bill that we've gotten passed out of the state house had her hand on it. So I was just like, yo, did they like throw her in the back of the van or something? Yeah, that was my first thought. First time? Your
first thought was that your Connecticut state representative had been assassinated or kidnapped?
I mean, it was kind of like because everybody was like reaching out to her and like no one knew what was up. So I was just like, okay, cool. Either crazy health scare or like they got to this woman. But it ended up being a little bit more like,
That sounds kind of similar to what happened with Bruce Franks in St. Louis. Like he was pretty well known for protests. There's actually a movie out about him. But he just resigned one day. He was like, you know, this is bad for my fucking mental health. And like they dog shattered this guy all when he was like all throughout the time when he was in office. And like kind of like your person. He was very progressive, very charismatic, but he was just like, you know, this is a strain on my mental health. And
yeah,
I mean, he seems to be a lot happier now that he's not in politics anymore.
Oh yeah, I envy those people. But yeah, like she didn't really show up. And it was kind of like weird and awkward. Because she didn't show up, they kind of slotted in this one dude that just happened to be there. Well, actually, no, he didn't just happen to be there. I believe otherwise. But yeah, he was just there. And he got like the party nomination to be the dude that ran for the seat. And like the awkward thing about it was kind of like cool. Connecticut's a really white state, of course, but I live in like one of the few places and parts of the state that isn't like so heavily white. And the seat that the seat in the district has always been held by like a black person. So it was kind of awkward. And I was like, yeah, this is a little bit weird. And the next thing I know, within like 24 hours, I'm just getting calls from people saying like, you've got to run, dude. We can't just hand this dude the seat that has been fought for by all these like people that were like cool. It hasn't only been like a black seat. It's been like cool, like a rather left seat where it hasn't been like black moderates or whatsoever. As compared to much of the other seats that you have in the state. So it puts me in like a really drafted. Weird, wild. Yes, drafted, because the first thing that like I said when I was asked was no. Yeah,
shit, I don't blame you. If you came to me and asked me, Black Red Guard, you should run for this fucking statehouse seat, I'd be like, first of all, have you listened to anything I've said over the past like 10 years? I would be a hell of a liability. And then like for two, how dare you?
Yeah, so it was so in many ways it was just like super suboptimal in the way of like me actually having knowledge of putting campaigns together was just like, bruh, like you're asking me to do something really crazy. Where I actually did end up talking to the outgoing like elected official, outgoing state rep, and she seemed to be fine. I think it really is what you were talking about, with your example, where yeah, when you're successful at actually passing good legislation policy, like leadership just comes after you, and like they'll just get after you however they can, utilize whatever tactics they can. So from there,
that's kind of stupid because like,
oh yeah,
especially like younger people, like our notion is that like the Democrats are useless. The Democrats are useless. They're basically no different than the Republicans. So if you've got a good person who's passing progressive legislation, why the fuck would you try to isolate them? Why would you fuck them over? Like they're like, why? It's like these. It's like the Democrats are. It's like the Democrats are determined to go the way of the Whigs or something.
It's insane because it's also like, let me like actually even like preface this to make it even more crazy. So in Connecticut, we the Democrats control all three like chambers of government, like the legislature, the House, the Senate, and also the governor's seat. So it's just like the party in of itself is sometimes its own like worst enemy and barrier to actually any like thing getting passed, where like I'm always just like, cool, we can literally look at a random state in the Midwest that like, oh yeah, we gave kids free school lunches with like a 1-seat majority, but like we're just struggling to get like measly housing policy like passed with like a super majority. And like there's like suburban urban dynamics and like other weird stuff, and the fact that like there's not much of a litmus test as to like what even makes you a Democrat in Connecticut sometimes. And yeah, like that just ends up being like why we don't get any real good policy passed. But yeah, after like I'm getting asked to do this, and like it's horrible because this starts like really early in the morning. And at that point, like I'm not really an early riser. So I wake up at like 7 a.m. and I see a bunch of missed calls. And usually with the way things go for me, if I'm receiving that many calls that early, someone's house is burning down, someone got shot, or something happened. So I'm just like, damn, like 3 missed calls, like the world's on fire. And it just happens to be people just like saying like, bruh, you gotta run. And I'm just like, A, I just woke up and you need to give me some time. B, like, I think I want you to really recognize how insane what you're asking me to do, where it's like, it's in the middle of May. The primary is like the second week of August. And I more or less have to make a decision in terms of like filing and petitioning to get on the ballot in the course of like 36
mind the
hours, but realistically, like
yeah.
more like 16. Like,
Never mind the immense strain that shit will take on your mental health. Like when you're in politics, like these people pry open every aspect of your personal life. They talk to your ex-girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. They talk to your mom. They talk to your dad. They talk to your grandma. They've talked to everybody you went to college with. And that's just for a minor fucking seat. Like these reporters are relentless. They know that they get paid to dig up dirt on people and do stuff like that. That's why a lot of people don't like reporters. But
yeah, so
yeah, like you're gonna have a big ass target on you, especially if you're black. You're gonna have a big ass target on your head. ADOS is gonna be fucking mad at you. The FBA weirdo is gonna be mad at you because you're from Ghana. Like it's just gonna be wild.
It's so weird, bro. I didn't know how deep like certain hate could get. So like when we were doing like our ceasefire resolution in Hamden, like bro, it was literally just people telling me like I'm a piece of shit for like 6 hours straight. It was actually really crazy. I handled it all really well.
Was it black people telling you this?
No. It was not. In fact, actually, the funny thing is I had like black constituents that were like, "Oh my God, you're the best thing ever. Like, thank you for doing this." It was mostly just like Zionists that were just like, oh yeah, no, it was just all Zionists that just showed up and packed the house.
This was this was like a public meeting, and this was at Hamden which you represent. So what are the demographics of Hamden? Like, is it?
So it's like I said, it's actually really weird where it is one of the more like diverse like places in Connecticut where like if I were to take a guess, it's like, it's maybe about like 60-ish, close to 50 actually maybe percent like white. And then like it really does split up the rest of it with like the most predominant part of it being like black, of that other 50%, a really big growing like Hispanic community. And then you do have like some other, Asian like identities sprinkled in there. And yeah, so it's actually identities. Like, well, I don't know. It's just like that's a vast array of things, because it's not like really monolithic. We could be talking about, like Pacific Islander folk. You could be talking about more like East Asian folk, Southeast Asian folk. But yeah, it's actually as diverse as it gets in terms of Connecticut. But it's also just like so geographically kind of awkward where at like the more northern end you really do have, it's actually weird. At the northern end it's kind of rural and it's heavily white, but then as you move more like south you get into like the suburbs and like the really rich white suburbs,
like Greenwich,
and then not Greenwich rich, but like pretty rich, where it's just like, I don't know why this house is like $600,000. Because it's in a really white neighborhood.
Yeah,
there's like a really
Greenwich. Yeah, like Greenwich people look at people like Greenwich people look at people that live at $600,000 houses as the help. So yeah.
Oh yeah. They're so our rich people are like Greenwich peasants, pretty much. Like that's a good way to put it. So like we have rich people, but we don't have like Greenwich rich people.
Greenwich and New Haven are the only cities I know of in Connecticut. I imagine the rest of the states just
like you don't know Hartford?
That's the capital. I did represent my state in the National Geographic. I know the capital of every United state.
Okay, all right.
Actually, I know the capital. I know the capital of every country in the world. Quiz me.
Dang, what's the capital of Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan, Almaty. I think they changed it.
I can't check you on that because I don't know.
But you don't have access. I'll check. I'll check myself. Capital of Kazakh Astana. I'm pretty sure they changed the name of it. No, they didn't. Oh, I was wrong. I know the capital of every country in the world except Kazakhstan, but Kazakhstan doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, no, I just was like thinking about the most random thing I could just like spit out. Yeah. So yeah, it's like a really diverse like town as far as it goes in terms of like Connecticut. But yeah, like, yeah, you had like the weird ceasefire resolution stuff. So like it was weird where like people already kind of like I don't know, it was awkward. Because you had people that already like knew about me and loved or hated me because of that. But then you had a whole entire swath of that with, you know, all the stuff that just like we were doing as like not only just like a chapter and me being one of like the few electeds in the state that was actually willing to just like boldly like actually talk and speak about the genocide. And you know, just things of that sort. So there were actually a couple of people that like thought like me running would like came as like an opportunistic thing of like, oh yeah, that's why he was doing all that stuff. And it was just like, no, I actually did not want to do any of this stuff, and kind of got talked into it. So I literally only have like 16 hours to like make up my mind pretty much. So I just hoist myself up out of bed and like I call literally anybody that like I value the opinion of or have ever valued the opinion of.
You didn't
and
call
like
me.
arrange. Yo, okay. If this ever happens again, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I need to ask this Maoist Twitch streamer if I'm going to run.
Oh my god, I'm so serious. If you ever ran for anything, I'm hauling ass down to Missouri.
If I ever ran for
like...
anything, I'd get a bullet in my head within 48 hours. Probably from my own fucking people. Chris, we love you, but like it'd be like that Nino Brown New Jack City thing. Where he's like trying, and he's got the pistol out. It's like, Chris, we love you, but this is not you.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, running for office is awkward sometimes. But yeah, I'm just like thinking to myself, like, cool, like this is actually really under the red sun. Yeah, I don't know if I'd subject myself to that.
I'm not going to subject myself to Hassan Piker's AI trying to sing Red Sun Under the Sky. Why would I do that?
Yeah,
I have heard it. I have heard it.
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't. See, that's the beautiful thing. Then also speaking to like the thing about people digging stuff up for you. So like I'm really a little different than kids my age. Where I actually did not have like Instagram or even much of a social media presence until I was like 17. So like my digital footprint, it's almost non-existent. Not like so like pre like 16 or so. And that's because I'm just like I just was a loser.
You're just an ideal politician now. There's no shit to dig up on you. Like, do you have any idea how many millennial and Zoomer politicians are going to be like ruined by old fucking Tumblr posts? They'll be like, well, we'd vote for you, but we'd vote for you, but you were an e-girl. And we don't vote for e-girls, so we'd vote for you, but like you said some really problematic things 25 years ago. Like, man, our generation is going to be in a chokehold, especially if you're terminally online.
I mean, I feel like any possible thing that like anyone could put against me that I said like after 17, like I could just like defend. Like I don't know. I think the wildest thing I've ever said on my like Twitter or whatever is like maybe I called myself like sexy or something, or like I like said that like policing like is like a ill that needs to be eradicated in response to like certain protests that you saw, like I saw in like Nigeria against SARS or whatever. But it's just like I don't know, like I could totally talk about that. Like
that's like, the wild. Okay. Those are the wildest things you've ever said.
Yeah, no, it's like just wildest things I've probably ever said on my Twitter. Or like I made a joke about the time I got like suspended in like 7th grade for punching a kid that called me like the N-word or whatever. Like
you're such a fucking normie.
Yeah, I just landed here. I never wanted to actually run for office anyways. I wanted to like I think the way I call it, I wanted to be someone's like political Oppenheimer, where it's just like they're like my political project or something. And like I just advise them and just like slide whatever policy desires that I want into, you know, stuff that they do. So not really quite a bureaucrat, but just like the invisible hand, just guiding like a politician of my choosing that I actually like.
Oh, Abdul, this is probably actually like, so I'm live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. There's like a shitload of people on Twitter watching this thing. There are
Damn, that's crazy.
There are 840 people watching this.
Damn. Okay, actually, it's Saturday it's a Saturday. It makes sense. I was about to say, like, what the hell is everybody like not doing?
I think that's where people that voted for you. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No. That's all. I don't actually know. I've lost enough races to just like be like, whatever. But yeah, it's so weird. Like I had to like make this snap decision. I think that I made it like at least like 12 hours into just like being confronted with it. And I'm not going to lie, like the last thing that I had to like really clear in my head was like, cool, can I actually do this and not lose my mind? Because it was just like, cool, I'm like intelligent enough to like string stuff together until I have enough money to actually hire folks and like kind of build staff. But it was just like, cool, do I actually think that I can like do all like the intensive work that needs to be done to be able to get to that point without, just like mentally falling apart? Because actually another reason why I was like kind of thinking about just like an extended sort of break was because in 2023, I not only had to run for re-election, but for work, I like work campaigns sometimes here and there. I just freelance and dabble in a bunch of stuff. So I was like field directing like a mayoral campaign for mayor in New Haven. So I was doing that while also running for re-election. And then I also had like a bunch of crazy like personal stuff come up. So it was just like, cool, I am tired. This election cycle cooked me. I am going to hide away and just be a good councilman for like the next 2 years. But this came up and like the question was like, cool, can I do this without like just like being just mentally insane? So the conclusion I came up with was just like, cool, yes, I can. But the first 3 weeks to month of this is going to suck. Because it's just like I have never had to putting a campaign together, like trying to put together a viable campaign in 2.5 months is insane. It's just like something in terms of just like difficulty that like I would never actually, I'd wish it upon a bunch of people. But there's certain people I wouldn't wish it upon.
I hope I'm one of them.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't wish that upon you. You're sweet. You're a sweetheart.
Jesus. I've been called a lot of things, but sweetheart is not one of them. Even my fucking boyfriends don't call me sweetheart, bro.
Nah, I'm just like I'm known to be a really nice, calm, and like just really caring person.
I'm not,
and it's bad for me. It's tough for me to even see like the bad in people sometimes.
I'm known to be an asshole, and I see the bad in everybody, even when it's not there. Anyways, back to serious shit. So
yeah,
go ahead.
No, yeah, I just decide that like I'm going to run, and it's just like, cool, all right, I'm going to take the weekend to just like put all the pieces of this campaign together. But like this is going to be like really crazy putting a campaign together like on the fly. But also the one thing that I said and one promise I made to myself was I would only do this if I like did it like authentically my way and tried to have fun with it. Because it's like, cool, I didn't even really expect to do this. And I'll be damned if I'm like miserable like doing this. Especially because like, campaigns are already like stressful and tough and arduous enough. So we're going to try to do this in a way that's like super, super fun. Really brings into the fold like a bunch of friends and comrades that, I've like wanted to like do stuff with, or just like I know that they do something really cool. So we're just going to take, inventory of like their skills and just like give them the opportunity to do some real cool stuff. So I literally like, I remember it was so stupid. Like the weekend before I actually ran, I decided to like actually file paperwork and stuff. Like I just hit up like 2 of my friends from college. And we just like filmed like this not so high quality video. I mean, like when we like edited it and all, it was good. It was just, like sometimes certain social media things like just it nerfs the quality. And yeah, it was so weird because there were people that I knew that were actually like they were on like the canal trail, because there's this weird like trail that we have that stretches all the way from like part of New Haven into like Maine or whatever. So we're recording on that trail, and like I run into people that know me. And Brian's in the chat. Yeah, what's up? That's my co-chair.
Brian is. I need to bring him on so I can torture him next. Yes, my job is to cause as much psychological distress to members of Connecticut DSA as humanly possible.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm so fortified after like some of like the like horrible
Yeah,
things
like you
that
ran
have
for
said to me in the past like year or so. Yeah.
Yeah, you ran for fucking office. You're like, bro, just bring it on.
Yeah, bro. I've had people notice. So I got like, it's actually crazy. I got diagnosed with ADHD in like March, and like part of like some of my symptoms sometimes just like I just like have weird like twitches and stuff. So the ceasefire resolution. Yeah.
I've got ADHD too. That's why I'm sitting here in this chair rocking like this.
Oh no,
like,
I took my meds right before this. I'm good.
Yeah. Like, have you noticed, like, I keep interrupting you, or like I go off on tangents on weird shit? You know how it is. Apparently, my viewers like it, but yeah. You muted yourself, Abdul. You're muted. Hold on. There you go.
I think that's why I like talking with people that have ADHD, because it just feels like you ever like listen to a rap song where it's just like two people going back and forth on just like a track without that's exactly what like talking with someone that
so this is now officially the ADHD stream.
But yeah, it's a month before I get diagnosed, and like I got some dude that's like just like harassing me through emails during the meeting, and actually let me actually check that. I think I could probably like find that in my town emails. And that was also the one thing where like there are people that were just like, bro, yeah, people weren't saying mean things to you. And I'm just like, my emails are foyable. Like, just FOIA me. Like, and I will literally like.
Is this man about to leak secret government documents on a fucking okay?
No, it's not. It's like it's definitely like legal. Because it's just like it's like a government sort of email or whatever, and just like anyone could access it.
When guys in fucking black ski masks kick your door down, I am going to lay flowers on your grave. But good.
Yeah. Also, it's just weird, like, because like you have access to like some of the voter databases, so you search up some of the people that are saying this stuff, and it's just like, bruh, you're not built.
You haven't voted. You haven't voted since 1992. Go sit down.
Yeah, or sometimes it's the inverse, where you vote in every election. It's just like you're just a liberal. Like, just like, what are you going to do? Like, just like stab your pen through like my name on like the ballot or something. Like,
yeah, or stab you maybe.
But
you never know.
Yeah. I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, the dude literally says in the middle of the meeting, keep twitching, asshole. Maybe one day when you'll grow up, you'll reflect on the damage you've done to our town. Again, go fuck yourself. So it's just like, bro, how does this man know I'm twitching and like have symptoms? Yeah, it's just like, dang, you're like a real talented hater.
People do that with me. Like they're like they'll see me just like rocking back and forth to the chair. Also, I do the gay thing where I put my fucking like one of my fucking legs in the chair and then I sit on top of it. Like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, are you high? I'm like, I'm not. What? I don't even know I'm doing it.
Yeah, so it's
such as life.
Yeah, in fact, it's just like, yeah, why is that guy so angry? It's just like so weird. Nonetheless, like, yeah, you just have like the campaign pop up, and I like record like this like really hilarious video of me running at the camera. And like I like at the end of the video, I say I'm running, but like I don't actually put that out at all. So it's just a random ass video of me running towards the camera.
Why are you running?
Put that on my social
Why are you running?
Literally, I put that on my Instagram story, and people were just like, "Bro, like, what the hell are you doing?"
Why are you running,
like, bro? Just wait until tomorrow. Like, it'll make so much sense.
The Bible says that an evil man runs when there's no one chasing him.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's just like that's what I mean.
African accent.
Why are you running, man? The evil man tells you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like, whatever.
Why do you want to be in charge of these white people? They do not like you.
Technically, actually, okay, yeah, you're right. There would be mostly. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I was going to correct you, but it's like you're actually right. But it was like really interesting in that way where I really did try to have like fun with it. Like I literally remember I was raising money because in Connecticut we have like public financing, which that's one of the things we get right. With our elections, you literally just raise like $5,800 and a certain amount of like in district donors, and they just throw you $36,000, which is like pretty good, damn good for like a state rep race. So like yeah, I'm fundraising and like I'm using like all weird sorts of methods. Of course, like I'm like calling people and doing like call time and whatever, which like I actually have to ramp up because of like how late I decided to run. Because there's actually a deadline of like, oh, you need to have hit all your like donation qualifications by this time if you actually want to receive public funding. So I literally have to like while doing all the other campaign stuff and just like canvassing, petitioning onto the ballot at that early stage. I have to like spend 3 to 4 hours a day calling people for money, which I absolutely hated.
I hate asking
and
people
like,
for money. Like, I hate it.
oh,
I
it
hate it. I hate
sucks.
it.
It
That's
sucks.
one major
I'm just
reason I
like
would
I
not
got
do
good at
well.
it though.
I would not do well in electoral politics because I hate asking people for money. I hate it.
You know, the thing that motivated me is actually crazy. It was just like, oh, I need to pay people. I want to pay people. Yeah, it was that. It's like I just like that was the only motivation I had, like actually get good at that. Damn, scammed out of the $8 in my bank account. That's crazy.
Next time
But
you
yeah,
fundraise, you should use a Nigerian accent.
I don't know about that. I feel like,
Oh, you don't? You feel
yeah,
like people
no,
would
because
think
like,
you're a scammer?
yeah. Because it's just like like my mom's side of the family has some like Nigerian like heritage and stuff, and it's just like yeah, nah, like I feel like the scammers and princes have given us like a bad name. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's hey, so it's just like it is what it is.
No,
Nonetheless, like in
you could always have me fundraise for you. People like my St. Louis drawl. I didn't even know I had an
oh
accent until
yeah,
I didn't even know I had an accent until people started telling me I did by watching these videos.
it's not that hard of a draw. It's like it's a really subtle draw.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
mean, St. Louis is basically it's basically the northernmost southern city in the westernmost
yeah,
eastern city, and a lot of the black
that's a
people
lot of
here, like our
geography.
roots are in the South. So, yeah, of course, we still have like elements of the southern accent.
Yeah.
Not as deep as Memphis, not as deep as Memphis because Memphis is actually in the South. But yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
very
no, that's like
discernible if
actually.
it's very discernible if you're not from here.
This might be stupid. Y'all have Waffle Houses in Missouri or anything?
We do have Waffle Houses in Missouri.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Look,
the
I can tell
closest
you,
one
judge
that we
me.
have here is in like Delaware or something. Like, yeah.
Well, Delaware Delaware was a slave state, so technically the South. Well, border state, but it was
Yeah.
actually a slave breeding. It was actually a slave breeding state.
Yeah. You Cubians. Not just kidding. But yeah. One of the fun, like I remember, like and of course, like it was so weird. Like I had like an email person that was like helping me out, with like the "give us money or we're going to die" emails to help us speed up in fundraising. Which like I remember drafting one myself, and it was just so much fun. I didn't know how much fun it is. It's just like it's like weird. So I kind of awkwardly fell in love with fundraising, which is I don't know. Maybe I'll atone for that one day. But I remember
Oh,
like I posted
you'll atone when the cracker control brigades break down your door.
okay.
Abdul, you are an honorary cracker. Welcome to the gulag.
That would not be the first time I've probably actually no, I don't receive that much. It's just self-consciously sometimes. But yeah, I'd like post stupid memes on stuff like asking for money, and it like make me more money than I did on like an entire day of calling people. And it'd just be like, man, this actually is really like, I'm happy this happened, but it's also just like I spent like 5 minutes crafting up like a really stupid meme with like the free time that I had, while I was waiting for my med refills. And it made me more money than just sitting my ass down on like a beanbag chair, and like calling people for money. And it was just like, wow.
Wait. You're saying that being terminally online is much more constructive than phone banking?
I mean, it depends on the day in certain instances where there was some stupid stuff where it was just like, cool. Actually, yeah, I think this campaign kind of rewired some of like my concepts where it's just like there's just like mixed methods that can really be used and employed and deployed. Where it was just like one of our best ways of catching just like voters that we just could not get because, really working class district and whatsoever were just texts. It was so weird. And especially like certain demographics because like every person that was above the age of 65 was always home and at their door and whatsoever. But it was mixed between like folks below that. And then also you have like a really weird rich slice of the So yeah, you had a really weird, rich slice of the district that like you'd have people that would be home for that wouldn't be home for the summer, and you'd have to really get creative in how you'd reach out to them. So like texts sometimes were like awkwardly effective. Where I remember like one of our most funny but like also effective texts, which I'm going to push this. Everybody in my chapter that might be listening to this, I'm going to push this so hard. So we have like a really bad like issue with like utilities and the cost of utilities in Connecticut because we pretty much operate under like a weird utilities duopoly where you either have horrible provider number one or horrible provider number two. And like people have always been fed up about it. So some people are actually starting to catch on to the idea of public utilities, which I'm just like, okay, cool. Now we're talking. Where Connecticut is one of those weird states where there is so much that you technically can't do at the local level unless like the state level passes legislation saying you could do so. So like, for example, there's, I think only like 2 municipalities that I know of that actually have like public utilities. And one of them is literally one of the most conservative towns in the state. And like they somehow in the 80s were like, yo, it's actually like more cheaper and efficient to actually do public utilities. And they've like kept it ever since. It's just like so weird and awkward.
That's how you get white people to embrace socialism. Tell them it'll save them money.
Oh yeah, I just like that's a living example of it. Like I remember working on like a state senate campaign in 2020. Yeah, I was deputy campaign managing it. And it was, in the heat of everything that was going on with the uprisings, and we literally published like a policy thing called the Black Liberation Agenda. And I remember talking to people from like the more like weird rural it's not country-ish,
I don't mean to cut
but
I don't mean to cut you off, but we just crossed over 1,000 live viewers.
Damn, what?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so weird.
Yeah. It is. This is actually since I started streaming, this is actually the most people that have been on one of my streams. Like, dang, I'm just at one time.
I had some dudes that like. The dudes that I worked with for like a lot of my campaign videos hadn't actually done political videos ever. I literally only found out that they were good and competent through watching Rap Battle League videos. So I put them on by like letting them record all of our campaign stuff, and in the process made them a ton of money. So they call me their golden goose. So it's just like, hey, and I just bring cool stuff to people. I guess, apparently,
brother, giving back to the community.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like I got people jump started in like weird careers and stuff. So that was actually the thing that made me feel really good about the campaign. So I was able to actually like offer some like really cool friends that had been doing like electoral work the opportunity to have like a real fun, real cool, calm space to actually hone their craft in. Like the videography stuff that I was talking about, where like they actually decided to take some of my friends that actually recorded my earlier stuff under their wing to help them like train on certain things. And it's just like, that's the cool thing. I feel like I actually built like some sort of awkward apparatus that might actually be able to exist after like the actual campaign in and of itself. And I think that usually sometimes to me is like one of the truest barometers of success for a campaign, where it's just like, it's one thing to win, but it's one thing to win and then govern, but then it's one thing to actually run a campaign that is actually like replicable and like there's actual meaningful stuff that are like coming out of it. So I think that was actually really cool for me to really have the opportunity to do. And I think it was actually probably one of the most fun campaigns that I've been able to put together. Because like I said, I was not about to like do a 2.5 month campaign that I hated. Because it was just like, no, like I didn't even really expect to do this. And then also, I don't, this is not that spicy. So like I feel like the culture up at like the state capitol sometimes is like really weird and awkward. Where it's just like, I do not think that's the place to go. Really like burnt out, tired, and depressed. Because I do know that there's quite a bit of drinking that happens up there. Now I don't personally drink, but it's just like also just like, yeah, no, like it's like,
are you Muslim?
Yeah, I'm Muslim. Yeah,
that's why you don't engage in haram activities.
I to the best of my ability. Yeah.
I guess a little shirk every now and then never hurt nobody.
No, not sure. That's a bit too far for me personally. But dang, okay, you really know ball. That's crazy.
I'm black in America. I have on an X shirt. Like you don't think I have like some familiarity with Islam?
Yeah, but like that's some well-developed familiarity. Like alhamdulillah, mashallah, brother. Like
I've read the Quran.
Okay, yeah, you're black. You could, yeah, you're a black like radical in America.
I have on a
like,
fucking Kangol for fuck's sake. I could be a black
true.
American Muslim, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't really dabble with organized religion. The only like the only manifestation of religion is me carrying around the High John the Conqueror root, but that's like rural black American. That's like rural black American spiritualism.
Wait. So how do you feel at like some of the Palestine like rallies that like you kind of see or go to, where like you have like the Muslim people that like say like the Shahada, and then like people that have no idea what they just repeat it, and I'm just like, oh god. You don't know what you're doing. Oh my god.
At least yeah, they'll be like, what the fuck? Why am I in Jahannam? What did I do?
And it's just like, bro, so like I remember I had this one friend a couple of weeks ago that actually hit us up in like the friend group chat, where like there's at least like 2 or 3 Muslims, but like it's a pretty mixed group chat. And he was just like, oh yeah, this dude handed me a prayer rug. What should I do? And like I literally like sent like just like a voice memo that I quickly unsent because I was like, nah, I don't want this dude to actually do that. He listened to part of it. And I was just like, put your right index finger up and say, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that meme? That picture of the dude praying, and he even has a little prayer mat for his cat, and the cat is praying too. Yeah, cats are born. Cats are Muslims.
Yeah, no, they're the purest among us, man. Like, just like, I love me some cats.
But going back to the Palestinian protest thing, like, listen, the battle cry of the resistance is Allahu Akbar. It's not all power to the people. It's not workers of the world unite. Yeah. Same thing. And like, as a black American coming from a spiritual tradition, coming from a spiritual people, like I think it was Huey that said like black Americans are an innately spiritual people. Africans, I think this was Kwame Nkrumah that said this. Like Africans are one of his big gripes with Marxism actually was its focus on dialectical materialism, and which in its most, I guess you could say, purest form makes no allowances for people's faith. So that's why it always hits that little breaker when it hits the third world, because people in the third world are usually usually extremely spiritual, especially people in Africa. So that's probably one of the like main stumbling points as to why like Black people in general, both in diaspora and on the continent, haven't like fully embraced Marxism to the extent that people in the Soviet Union did, or people in like even in China, like the official Marxism is the official ideology, but Mao did not tamper with, like, okay, you still want to burn your incense, you still want to go to your Buddhist temple, you still want to do all this, that's fine. Like, there was no blowing up of churches, there was no blowing up of mosques. Like, that is the quickest way to ensure that you have a reactionary movement organized against you. And that's what I keep trying to tell these fucking, like, that's what I keep trying to tell these fucking idiots. But like, well, Marx is fucking dead.
Yes. Like so that's one of my biggest gripes, and I feel like it's literally against all of the exact same tenets, where it's just like, cool, you are not analyzing your actual material conditions, or like the actual, just like the reality that you are actually living in the space and time that you are living in right now, and you are trying to apply 1917 Soviet conditions to 2024 society. And it's just like, if you really do believe Marxism to be a science of sorts, you are literally not doing that, and you are treating it as like a religion, or like dogmatic sort of, you're taking a really dogmatic approach towards it.
How they
and it's just like, bro, you just looked at words, but you didn't read and actually interpret it.
And like, here's the thing. Yeah, because most Marxists, they only read books just to say that they've read them. Like, none of these people have read Capital. I know, because I haven't read Capital, and I'm a reading motherfucker. Like, nobody's just going to sit and imbibe 3 volumes. This fucking bro, are there 3 volumes of Capital? I don't fucking know. But see, I got my economics through Mao and Walter Rodney. They read well. I don't even think Mao admitted, and the Soviets roasted him for this. Mao admitted to never having read Capital. He said it was too boring. But like, he was a fucking gym teacher. He was a jock. He wasn't an economist.
Facts. That's my coach. Who's Tim Walz?
Mao for VP. But like, going back to this whole thing, like, one of the major reasons why Marxism hasn't made inroads among Black Americans is because we like the notions that it disrespects the faith of the people. Like, it was like our own special variants of Christianity were the reason why a lot of people in those fields simply didn't just fucking yeet themselves into the nearest creek.
Yes.
Okay, because they had the belief that something better was coming. So you can't. I'm a firm believer in not tampering and meddling with people's faith, because for one, that's personal. Like, people like I don't know why Marxists are following the right to tamper with people's religion. They even want to get involved in people's sex life. Like, what does that have to do? As long as you're not engaging in any fucked up pedophile weirdo type shit, I do not care.
Yeah. No, I don't care.
But
dude.
like, but yeah, like, those are like subjects that people feel, because they feel incompetent talking about shit that actually matters, but stirring up moral outrage and appealing to the lowest common denominator of reactionaries. Yeah, they can do that. They love that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I could at least vibe with like some of the Marxist interpretation of like, oh, cool, once we like achieve socialism and like are on like the transitionary stage of everything, like, you know, religion and its influence will wither away as like the material conditions of like the masses are met and blah blah blah, which is like cool. As like a dude that follows like organized religion, I could accept that, and it's just like, cool, I'm in coalition and community with you still. Even if I might like have some slight disagreement, but it's also just like the point in which some people don't actually quite lead with that. It's just like, bruh, like I might be able to put that past myself, but like there's like a 50-year-old like Black lady that just like you just turned off. Well, the thousands of them that you just turned off by saying that. Like,
there was actually a big Black-led strike in St. Louis back in the 30s. The Funston nut strike. Yes, I just said nut. Anyways, yeah. But like, and communists were involved in organizing and supporting the strike, but very few of the black women that helped organize this strike joined the Communist Party because they said that, yeah, y'all disrespect our Bible. If I can't take my Bible, I'm not going. So that's so we have to like actually develop. I mean, I'm not saying that we should all start going to church, because I was dragged to church enough as a kid. Like it's boring as hell. I'm not going to church. But like, you have to respect people's beliefs and you have to make allowances for them. Of course, you don't have to make reactionary allowances for them, but you have to be like, hey, same thing with the Palestinian movement. Like, these people are there are Christians in Palestine, but Palestine is overwhelmingly Muslim. So why would you why are you during this whole reactionary what do you hope to achieve? Like, it'd be different if you were right, but you're not even right. You're just a loud asshole.
Yeah, also it's just like reactionary movements could spring in opposition to anything, that is actually, ostensibly left on its own, but you're like literally giving it the space to actually grow. And it's just like, bro, like, and then I think what also, like, even kind of going back to it, is just like, bro, every single like person that you're telling me you stand, where it's just like, you're like a huge Lenin stan, you're a Mao stan, you're a Nkrumah stan, you're a whatever stan. It's just like, what those people did that made them so successful? They synthesized like, what they already knew and like learned through theory with like the actual society that they lived in and the conditions of it. So it's just like, I think that's where I'll forever be thrown for a loop and lost at.
And then another thing is, like, you don't have to have an opinion on every fucking thing. Like some shit just does not matter. Like, people send me DMs asking me, "What is your thought on?" So I don't know. I don't care. Like, this impacts my life. This impacts my life in no way whatsoever. If you want to dress up in a fucking furry costume and go to a comic, like that's none of my fucking business. I don't care. If you want to spend your whole life savings, if you want to spend your whole fucking life savings on a furry costume, then go ahead. Like, what do you mean? What are the economics of furrydom?
What they want is for you to like explain every single thing that exists on the earth and at least say dialectics 15 times to prove that you know what you're saying.
Listen, I only call myself Yakub as a joke. I don't know everything. I've got a big head, but it's not that big. But yeah, like, I'm not.
You didn't have any like island of Patmos in your like DNA test stuff, your genealogy. No island of Patmos there. All right.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, just check.
So the Democratic Party, you ran for statehouse as a Democrat, because that's what most DSA electeds do. I'm not going to begrudge you that, because like the default tactic is still to use the Democratic ballot line, because like, I mean, in a way, I don't begrudge that. Like, okay, if there's an opening at the local or state level, and like most people, like most American voters, they vote for the letter. They vote for the D or they vote for the R. If DSA appears, like, we have to do political preparation before people are actually going to go out, before people are going to actually go and seek out, okay, this is what my DSA candidate believes. The Democrats and Republicans have fucked up. They've been fucking up for the past 50, 60, 70 years, for the past 100 years. Fuck that. So I'm going to give DSA a try. That's my main critique of these third parties. Many of them have their hearts in the right place, like the Green Party, PSL. But like, PSL came in behind Kanye fucking West in 2020, if I recall correctly. Like, like, people are not taking these things seriously because people don't know who they are, or they don't think that they can win. If a bunch of people don't think that you can win, then you're not going to win. It's like a self-fulfilling defeat.
It's one of the most like awkward like psychological aspects of it. Where like, cool, I think even if there were to be, like a party that would be formed. Like, and it's really like early stages. It would probably be like one of those parties that you can kind of get like cross endorsed. Like there'd be a ballot line, but you'd probably be cross endorsed. And like, you know, like that'd be probably for like a certain amount of time to actually build some sort of like actual, like do some actual real party building in like the meantime. But then also like one of my hugest gripes is like the people that like really do push some of this stuff. They're just kind of pushing it from like their couch or sidelines. And it's just like, bruh, like, you know how much work that actually takes. Like, I'm not saying that we shouldn't engage in that work, but I'm saying like at this exact stage that we are at, like, cool, I could probably make myself go insane putting in some of like the groundwork and legwork for that, but you probably wouldn't. And I am not going to endure all of this alone.
Most of these people most of these people are already insane. So
yeah, so like, I'm not even saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, like, do you really know what you're signing yourself up for?
No. Because a lot of these people that promote this line, they don't engage in electoral politics in the first place.
Yeah,
like it's entirely like you said, they just sit on their couch and they just sit with their little hipster friends. They go to the little microbrewery or whatever, and that's all they talk. They talk about this stuff, but they don't actually like do the work. When you actually do the work, like that's why, like the whole Cory Bush thing, I went to one canvassing event. I'm not going to act like I was a fucking campaign manager or anything, but like, since joining DSA, but since joining DSA, like I've actually acquired like respect for that type of work. When I was a Maoist, well, I still am a Maoist, but like when I was a Maoist, I guess you could say hardliner, running around, like I thought that political
Maoists. I'm just kidding.
I've got a neck beard.
No, you're pretty clean, dog. Like whatever. Like
but anyways, I thought that political power grew out of the nozzle of a spray paint can. And then like actually working with DSA, like I actually got like acquired a respect for the work that's being done. Because like this is hard fucking work. Like it's easy to spray paint "Don't Vote, Revolt" and then take a picture of it and then put it on your little blog. Like it's easy to do that. Okay. It's easy to throw a brick. It's easy to do stuff like that. But like actually
that's why the feds do it sometimes.
Yeah. Anyways, but like, and that, like that's what a lot of younger comrades do. They do stuff that's easy. They do stuff that makes them feel uber revolutionary. And then they look around, they're like 25, 26, 27 years old. Jesus, what the fuck did I just spend the past 8 years doing?
Yeah.
So that's why I encourage people to join DSA. It's not like I'm trying to build some fucking
imam. Yeah.
Your childhood imam.
He instilled part of like the weird so I'm not going to lie, some of my political discipline really does come from Islam. But I was just jokingly saying shout out him because like you were referring to like people just doing stuff because it like makes them happy and fun. And I remember one of the things that he like told us like really young was just like, oh, you guys like to have fun. You know what starts with F2? Fire. And I was probably like 12. Actually, probably a little younger than that. But yeah.
I actually do respect. I'm glad you brought up the discipline that's inherent in Islam, because like Malcolm X actually spoke of that. Like that's why so many Black Americans who have been incarcerated. That's why so many gravitate towards Islam, various sects. Like the Nation of Islam, like really isn't all of that. Like now in the 60s and the 50s, yeah, chances are you would join the Nation of Islam. But like actually, Orthodox, Sunni, and Shia groups have been doing prison ministries. So now when you meet an African American Muslim, chances are that they're actually in the original traditions as they developed, as opposed to the Nation of Islam. So that's very interesting, like to see that shift. And even then, like most people only join the Nation of Islam because of Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people ended up leaving. A lot of people ended up leaving after he was assassinated because, of all the shit he exposed about Elijah Muhammad. So in the 70s, you had a gravitation of African Americans towards like traditional Orthodox Islam. But it's been really, really
and there's actually a mosque that has that same exact trajectory and story in like my district, where they used to be all Nation of Islam members. Then as like the organization at its heyday really did fall apart. There was a leader at one point that they actually had, or like not a leader. It was like it was Elijah Muhammad's like son or whatever, a descendant, maybe like a generation. Wallace, yeah, Wallace D, yeah. W.D. Muhammad. He kind of transitioned them towards a more like orthodox Islam, and like like that is pretty much the story of that one mosque.
Yeah, that's what happens with all cults of personality. Like when Farrakhan dies, a lot of people that join the Nation of Islam because of him are going to leave, and they're still going to ride with Islam. They're just going to seek more traditional methods. It's like the thing with cults is that they're usually very intense. You usually only join them because of the prestige of one guy, and then when that one guy leaves or dies, then you're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck did I just do?
Like cults, elite glazing right there.
Maybe I should start a cult. I want to be glazed. Anyways,
whoa.
Stop! You're making me cough. I'm a smoker. You're making me cough. Are you trying to kill me?
I think not gonna lie, that would be a crazy like government development where they're like, nah, we're gonna kill this dude. Like, we're not even gonna touch him. We're just gonna like make him cough.
Yeah, you send the CT DSA sent you here to assassinate me. You guys are my favorite branch. Well, one of my favorite branches, by the way. Like, you all are serious, but you all like don't take yourselves too uber super seriously. That's what I like,
because this stuff is like stressful and sucks. Like, like why would you up the ante on like on all of that when it already naturally exists, and give yourself more of that?
Like that's how, like you guys is how I want SDL DSA to be. Like we're still a dope branch. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to say like, oh, why are you running for co-chair if you hate the branch? But like, there's a difference between like taking yourself too seriously and taking yourself not seriously enough. Like there's a balance between that, and we have to match that balance. Otherwise, there's going to be problems, and people aren't going to take us seriously. They're going to be like, all you guys do is fucking drink. Why would we go hang out with you guys? Why would we listen to anything you have to say about politics? But I actually reviewed our 2025 platform. It was really good. I don't know who that is.
That's crazy.
I don't know who that is.
Wow, that's wow. The milk merchant allegations. That's crazy. Nacho cheese.
So
I just think that's a real unoriginal name. Like,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When the devil made your milk of magnesia, did he or did he not break the mold?
Like what do you mean by that?
Oh, you've never seen Don't Be a Menace to South Central.
Oh, that thing. Oh, okay. Oh, damn.
You remember the Hotep dude?
Yeah, the Hotep dude. Okay. I don't know. I mean, probably not. Yeah.
Anyways, butt pumped aside, white women
butt
aside.
Pumped, that's wild. You could have just said like the more crude version of that. Don't half-ass it.
What? Fudge Packer?
Yeah, like come on. Where's the real like hatred? Like
homosexualist?
Yeah. Like, come on, man. It's just like, see, that's also the thing. I remember, like, I feel like I encountered someone at one point that, like, I could tell that, like, they obviously like hated me, and I was talking to them in person, and like I knew what they wanted to like refer to. And it was just America, like, bro, you know, I get death threats. Just like tell me the actual thing that you're feeling and get off your chest, and I will actually probably respect you a bit more. Like,
yeah, let's be glad you were never a Maoist.
Yeah.
When Maoists get bored, we send death threats to each other.
it's just like, why would I?
You know,
I mean, it's just like
somebody left a dead rat with a stream like of Gonzaloite insults on my comrade's porch one night. He liked the Facebook post that was critical of the Shining Path, and they actually went to a pet store. They bought a mouse. They built a cute little red coffin for the mouse, and somebody sat and painstakingly wrote in Spanish, in español, a torrent of insults. And like, bro, who has this free time? And then they actually drove over to my friend's neighborhood and left this thing. Like, bro, y'all have too much free time. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, it's just like,
and like,
yeah,
how is
it's
that like
flattering.
How is that constructive to the cause of the revolution? Like, are you actually thinking that you are going to scare somebody into changing their views or something? If anything, they're going to put it on Twitter or Facebook and either play the victim or laugh at it. And then you all are going to look like a bunch of lunatics. That's why cults don't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. They don't make any sense, but I could see why they appeal to certain people, where it's just like, you probably could have just used like therapy or something. Actually, this is funny. I feel like I've encountered a lot of people in electoral spaces where it's just like, you don't need electoralism, you just need therapy. Like,
it's kind of like, you don't need gun control, you need cracker control.
Oh God, yes.
You don't need electoralism, you need brain control.
Yeah. It's just like,
so
there's something deep down that or friends. Sometimes
or friends.
Yeah, something in that. Yeah. It's just like, it's all the people like in student government like that, or that were in student government, which I was never a part of student government. I just had people that would like harass me to run. Where like they're just like, they were thinking about like the next step.
I'm never bringing the video back, bro. That was two laptops ago. That video was long gone. Quit asking for it back. I don't have it archived somewhere. Like, and you know what? I never used to script my videos. I never did. Like, that was entirely off the. I never.
So when did you start scripting your videos? Or did you ever script any of them?
I think I scripted like 3 or 4, but I never did. Sometimes I would type notes, but like in terms of reading off a script, no, that was entirely fucking ad hoc.
That I respect that.
Yeah, you. In case you didn't notice, I'm fucking insane.
No, that's talent. That's I just wow. That's damn.
So, in case you haven't noticed, I've reached a stage of ADHD locked in where I'm fiddling with the pen. So I guess we can close by you've been black in DSA longer than I've been in DSA. So
yeah,
like, well, when did you join DSA?
I joined DSA. So it's actually really funny as hell. It was like 2019 that like I started actually dabbling around with DSA, because I think the way I look at it politically, like I was like a liberal most of my life. Oh God, there's still this one essay that I will never let see the light of day. I was in like 8th grade and I wrote like a really long essay about like why Obama was the greatest president of like the past like 25 or so years. It's never seen the light of day. But like, yeah, raised on MSNBC and all that other stuff. And it's tough to not be swept up. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think that like, so my dad, sometimes I feel like he has like liberal tendencies or thinks he's a liberal, but it's just like, bro, you're not a liberal. Because like there was a small segment of his life early on in his life where he actually lived through like Nkrumah's, like presidency. And like he actually has really fond memories of it, where he was just like, oh yeah, food was really bountiful and plentiful, and there was like workers' rights and all that other stuff. And I was a part of like this one group called like the Young Pioneers or whatever, and I was able to deduce the fact that that was actually kind of like a young communist club. So it's just like every now and then you just talk him into enough of a conversation, you'll get some fun politics out of him. And if you talk anything Pan-African, it just you just open up like a whole entire thing. Where actually, like those like
Is
that
he?
one
Is
shirt
he?
that Gaddafi had,
Uh-huh.
with like all the African leaders on it. So I got like a
Please don't.
jersey version of that. Like, so I have a
Wow.
jersey version of that. And I got my dad a matching one for Father's Day because he was just like, "Oh my God, please give it to me." So it's actually weird. So I think sometimes like when I try to like sift through his politics, I really get to recognize the fact that like every hopeful like African leader that like he ever saw in his like youth literally got like killed or like cooed out of power. So it's just like, okay, cool. Like you get a
He's
little
jaded.
bit of
Yeah, he's jaded.
I have to like come to the understanding of that. And my mom, I'd pretty much say is just like probably like just a big believer in like the actual, social safety net and like things of that sort. Not really much developed beyond that, with like a real good lens in terms of like imperialism and things of that
Yeah.
sort. Where like,
Yeah.
I think I was lucky.
One thing I've noticed about people from the continent and people from my background, Black Americans, is that like y'all tend to have a far better understanding of like imperialism, because I guess you all have been the victims of us and of imperialism. And then like you talk to a Black American, like we get it, because there's still like lingering Huey, Kwame Ture consciousness, especially amongst elders. But like with the whole Obama and Kamala Harris, like a lot of reactionary
You ever listen to My President by Jesus before? My President is Black. Yeah.
I was in, that was my first 2008 was my sophomore year of high school. Yes, I remember that song very well. It was every fucking where. When I was the night that Obama the night that Obama got elected, people in my neighborhood were literally firing all of their guns in the air. It sounded like New Year's Eve. Like we really thought shit was gonna change.
Dang.
But like a lot of work is being done on people our age. Well, you're of an entirely different generation from me. I'm 30, you're 22. So regardless, all the white people see it's the same. It's like, okay, young Black people. Like a lot of work is being done. So that's why they've got, like, if you saw the DNC, that's why they have all these rappers. That's why they have like all of these people. The Republicans are doing the same fucking thing. Like Trump is probably the Republican candidate that has done the most outreach to Black voters in the past 50 years.
You got like Ronald New York Reagan drill rappers performing at Trump rallies.
New York. Yeah. He's very popular in Chicago too, because Chicago, as you know, is in the midst of a migrant crisis, and like the Republicans are making hay with that. Like the Democrats are trying to split us away from Palestinians and Arabs as a whole, and the Republicans are trying to split us away from Latinos. Either way, it all revolves around Black people, because like, okay, like there's only maybe 200,000 Palestinian Americans in the United States. That's not saying that they should be ignored, but that's what the Democrats are doing. They're going to ignore them. That's why they did not allow a Palestinian to speak. They did not allow a Palestinian to speak because they figure that this constituency is not important. But
that's a whole horrible calculation. That's a horrible calculation.
That is, because a lot of people are in solidarity with Palestinians, but they were not going to snub Black people, because there's 44 million of us in this country.
Yeah.
So that's why so many of them are courting us, because a lot of these immigrant groups, they don't vote or they won't vote
for at least a generation. Yeah,
for at least a generation until they get citizenship and until they get accustomed to American political culture. But Black people in the United States, like especially our elders, we fucking vote. Well, so that's why. That's why each party is reeling out token after token, because they're trying to pander to us, because I know that, like Malcolm said years ago, like we're the wheel on which this country turns. Like we decide who gets to go to the White House, and we decide who gets to go to the doghouse.
Yeah.
But like that's ignorant. Huh?
Oh no, I kind of got lost in like what you were even asking me at first.
Oh no. No, I was just
Oh,
basically
being
saying
black.
that, like, India being black. What is it like being
Awesome.
black in DSA?
Oh, okay, yeah, because yeah, how I joined DSA. I just got really disillusioned. Because I got into like politics like really young. Um, and like some of the idealism that I had like a little earlier on before I actually got involved, just like either couldn't see it or like I couldn't reconcile those ideals with like what I actually saw going on. And it just started it just started this weird process where I was just like progressively sliding towards the left, where I was just like, cool, maybe like I got like a small little social democrat like tendency to me. Thankfully that was really quick. And then like by the time I was like a senior in like high school, I was just like, all right, I'm a democratic socialist. Because ironically enough, I don't think I was like conscious enough for like Bernie in 2016 to even like make me like. So yeah, you got all the people that like their entryway into socialism was Bernie. Mine was just looking at the world around me and like some of the ideals and just realizing that none of it really like reconciled with one another. So there you go. I'm in my like freshman year of college at Southern Connecticut State University. I think I go to like one college Dems meeting or like a few of them, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling this, man. Like, you got kids out here talking about like, yo, I'm riding with Pete Buttigieg, like that's my dude, and I'm just like, no, I'm like, this not for me. Like, I already knew liberalism and like the mainstream Democratic Party was just like starting to like lose me, and at that point, I was just like, nah, I'm gone. So there happened to be at the meeting, someone that actually was a member of like YDSA that literally spoke at the end or like middle of the meeting. I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually here with YDSA. If you want to join our meetings, you could have our meetings and blah 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 and whatsoever. So that's how I got like my first kind of like touch or so with like DSA. Which I think I already knew about DSA in terms of its existence, at least for like maybe like 2 years or so. It was just like cool, like I just do campaigns and stuff, man, like, or like the occasional like actual like community sort of oriented campaign. um so then from like being involved with like YDSA to the point where I think through like just membership and then some of just attrition, there was like a semester or so where the college Dems didn't exist and YDSA was the only thing that actually existed, which hooray, we made them extinct. Like I got connected with like our DSA chapter, which at that time wasn't Connecticut DSA, it was Central Connecticut DSA. And I got involved at a time where like there was a lot of like turnover and turmoil with leadership. So it's actually what we're able to be at right now in terms of like a statewide chapter is like kind of a miracle. Considering like all the stuff that happened preceding that. I'm not going to name any names, institutions, or organizations. But like there was just heavy turnover. And once we got to COVID, all of leadership high key resigned for certain reasons. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Did
DSA
they have
lore.
COVID?
No. They didn't have
Yeah.
COVID. I think they just had other priorities, which also really points out to other stuff. Yeah, it's like the one thing I'll muzzle myself on for this live. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm glad.
it
Like
could elicit many.
I've resolved myself to like become less of a gossip, especially since I'm seeking like a leadership position in my local branch. So it's kind of my job, one, to set an example, and two, to like, no, like that's just not how leadership behaves. So
Yeah,
I've yeah, I'm trying to be less of a gossip and pot stirrer.
yeah, and also it's just like, while you keep that in like your analysis of things, the past is the past and there's nothing you can really do about what already happened. So yeah, like you just had folks kind of jump in as like the chapter was kind of sinking and almost at the brink of not really existing anymore. And it more or less got revived with the combination of a lot of the stuff that was going on in the summer of 2020 and the uprising that you had going on, housing work, that was kind of just centered around, like rent control, eviction moratoriums and all of that stuff. And then also like the state Senate campaign of like my kind of political mentor and good buddy, Justin Farmer, that like all of those things at once really did give us like the solid basis and foundation to kind of just keep on moving in this way that, we've been able to continue to. So like I didn't join in 2019. I actually joined in October of 2020 because I looked up and I was just like, oh, damn, it's October 2020. I've low-key been like in DSA spaces for like a solid year and I'm not a member. So no one actually asked me to be a member. I was just like, oh, dang. Thank you guys for letting me like actually be in your space for like a year without being a member. I'm gonna just like silently become a member. Yeah.
Yeah, I joined I joined before I got kicked out of the Maoist organization I was in, but they had part of the reason why they kicked me out and then collapsed.
I was about to ask that.
Yeah, rip FTP. But like they said that I was in serious that I joined DSA for clout. I'm like, what? I'm a Maoist. Okay, I already have a YouTube channel. I already have all that shit. Like I don't do things for clout, believe it or not. I did it because like I actually found it stupid that we as Maoists were expected for solely ideological reasons to remain aloof from the largest socialist organization in the country. And honestly, this is probably the most serious organization I've ever been in. Like I definitely have critiques, as those of you who follow me on Twitter know. Like I'm not a big fan of the DSA, right? Because I'm a leftist, but I don't see these people as like bitter enemies that must be liquidated or destroyed, or like, no, we're all in the same organization. Like if we at war, if we're at war, we go around cutting our comrades' throats in their sleep. I don't think so. But
because at the end of the day, like more weird quarreling is just literally just going to end us all at like fascist death camps. So it's just like and
my people have already had an experience of fascist death camps. They were called plantations. I don't want to revisit them. So my take on being black in DSA is that like it's two things. People either like tokenize you, like they're like, oh, you are the arbiter of all things black. You are the king of the Negroes. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like my experience growing up in an urban area is radically different from somebody my age that grew up in rural Mississippi, or somebody that grew up in the Bay Area, or somebody that grew up in Ghana or Nigeria. Like blackness is extremely diverse. That's why I was laughing at people who are like, oh, Kamala Harris ain't black. I'm like, technically she is. Like she's would have
black.
like Kamala Harris
just has a different experience of it.
Yeah. If Kamala Harris was in this country in 1855, she probably would have qualified for slavery. She probably would have been a slave. Like she would not have been at her liberty. So in this country, basically, if you would have qualified for slavery because you have a single drop of African DNA, as they would say, you are black. That's how race works in the United States. Now in Brazil, it's different. In the Dominican Republic, it's different. Like in the Dominican Republic, you've got dudes that are walking around looking like me talking about their Spanish. Of course, I think that they're delusional, but still.
Shout out Dominicans.
Well, when I speak Spanish, my coworkers, like, they call me the Dominican at work because I speak Spanish. I know Dominican, papi, I'm black.
I know black, I'm Dominican. No. Nunca negro, amigo.
Oh, soy negro. Soy negro y tú también.
No soy negro.
Soy negro y tú también.
No.
Tú no eres español. Pinche gringotero. Tú eres un gringuero. Anyways, like I just making up shit. But like, okay, so they tokenize you, or they're like, oh, why is this uppity motherfucker talking to me? Like that's the sentiment I've gotten, especially from some of the writers. Like I say something to them, and they're like, like, who the fuck are you talking to? Okay, this is fucking like, I've experienced some pretty hardcore racist shit. And then the thing is, like, they either don't know they're being racist, but somebody slides in their DMs. It's like, you shouldn't have said that to him, especially knowing who this is. Like, he's going to screenshot that and he's going to get you roasted. Like, everybody knows that I'm the king of the ratio. So is that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, then they slide in trying to apologize. I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you knew it. You meant exactly what you said when you said it. And I have a strong suspicion you knew what you were doing. Like, no, no.
It's like at this point, ignorance is hard to kind of have a claim. Like,
oh, and then they're like, "Oh, can you delete that?" I was like, "I'm not deleting shit. Take your L. Take your whooping."
I think my favorite is like I feel like I've been mistaken. Well, actually, it's only one other black member. Like, I feel like I just get mistaken for like this one other black guy. I've had people be like, "Oh, are you Justin?" And I'm just like, "Bro, no."
Justin Charles?
Nah.
Other dude?
The dude that brought me into politics, Justin Farmer. Yeah, and it's just like, bro, I don't look like him. It's just like, I feel like the dude that you vote, you hop onto Opa Vote to endorse as your chapter elected elected official should be a dude that you're able to like differentiate and like remember the face of, and it's just like, but like that's a small petty thing.
See, my thing is, see, ain't nobody else in DSA that looks like me, so I don't get mistaken for nobody.
Inshallah.
I have a very very distinctive look. Anyways, so we're at 2 hours and I got to get ready for work. So anything you want to close?
Yeah. No, I think that there are like multiple like wings of which like people have like places in the movement to be. And that's why I try to never really actually be too demeaning with a comrade. Where it's just like, cool, no, not all of us should be in electoral work. Not all of us should be like organizing.
Most of us shouldn't be electoral work.
Oh yeah, no, there's actually like a really specific skill set that it takes. And that's okay because everybody in the movement has like their specific place where it's just like, yes. I think someone said that like you have too many people that want to be the main character too many times. And like that's really true. And I feel like I have the right to say that because like I came into all of this not really even wanting to be like a main character or barely even really wanting to be a supporting character. And it's just like, yeah, like it's just like there is all a role for each one of us to play in the movement, like whether big or small, you know, each to their own according to their own ability and all that other cool, great stuff. So it's just like, yeah. Just like
I know
find
role,
your
like
organization.
Like my role ain't running for office. My role is interviewing people and making tweets.
Yes,
like, that's what I am.
I'm just
that's what I am. I'm a propagandist.
Yes, you need propagandists in the movement. Like, and it's like people who sometimes are afraid to say that. But it's just like I think that's the one real message where it's just like, cool, we don't move any closer towards like socialism or any semblance of that if people don't really recognize that. And I think that's been like the one important thing for like me, where it's just like, yes, I am very well aware at this point of, you know, like what my purpose is in the movement as like a socialist elected official. And like it just influences like, you know, how I'm able to move in certain things. But it also sharpens my critique of other elected officials, where like I feel like one of the weird things that I think is not enough socialist actually not really not enough. I just sometimes see people that like are way too risk averse, where it's just like, you know, I feel like I was talking with a friend where like, cool, my like thought process for a lot of things is like, cool, I'll critically think through something for like quite a bit. But ultimately, sometimes it's just trusting like your gut intuition and just saying, fuck it. Because also just like if we truly are the protagonists of our struggle, then that actually has to come with actually leading like a protagonist, and building the political will for stuff rather than waiting
I'm
for
not
it
a
to come.
protagonist. I'm an anti-hero.
Yeah, okay. It's just like, yes, if you a protagonist or anti-hero. Yeah, we love a good anti-hero. I'm an anti-hero, but yeah.
No. Well, I suppose. I've wanted to do this like interview, like since I first saw your video when you were running for the thing, the what, the 94 thing, the 94th
Oh yeah,
state,
district, yeah,
to see all these districts and bullshit. 94th
Oh yeah,
state.
numbers.
How the fuck does Confederate see
Connecticut.
Connecticut?
There are some weird people with Confederates like flags, and it's just like, bro, you're like
What?
a couple hundred miles north of like the Mason-Dixon line, big dog.
Connecticut is the most Yankee of Yankee states. Anyways,
Oh yeah,
like, how the fuck is Connecticut a tiny ass state? Like, how does it get up to having 94 fucking districts?
Oh, we have more than 94. We have 151.
Is every house a district?
Nah, it's just feudalism never really died in Connecticut. Yeah, it's down to the point where we don't actually have county government. We just have like 169 like little fiefdoms,
Townships
that just like have their own. Yeah, it's so inefficient, even from just like the uber like economist like sort of point of view. It's so wasteful in terms of spending, and it's just like if we just decided to have county government, everything would be so much better. But like in this day and age, that comes with like kind of giving up political power. So like that's probably that's a way away. Yeah,
everybody must get paid.
Yeah,
they got to maintain that condo in New York.
It's like, yes, everybody must get paid like $5,000 extra for serving on like their local council, because that's so enriching.
Yeah, I think this fucking computer I'm using costs more than $5,000. Anyways, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Abdul. It was so good to finally be able to do this. Yeah, and shout out to all the comrades of Connecticut DSA. Keep being awesome.
Facts. I'm gonna join them at their little beach day celebration in a second. Aww. So it's just like, yeah, I didn't work on this summer body for nothing.
All right. Peace. Enjoy the beach. Try not to drown. Right. If you drown, I'll have nothing to do with it. Yeah. All right. All power to the people. See you.